Kia ora team, hope you're doing good, hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a very good day indeed. We are going to go over another lesson. We're going to do a bit of a Maori song today. It's the indigenous people of New Zealand. For those in cyberspace, we're going to go over Hoki Mai. So let's get into this one, an old classic. Alright, so just a little bit of background on the song. What the song is really made famous from, or what it was written for, was for the 28th Maori Battalion back in the Second World War with the Anzacs. So that's what the song is really about. And it's Hoki Mai, meaning to pretty much come back, come home, come back to me, Hoki Mai, to return. And e Tama ma, boys. That's what Tama is, it's a boy. So, as they're coming back on the ships, this was one of the songs that they sang. There's a version before it, or the original version, which I think was a bit of a lament kind of song, a bit more serious. But then, especially when Howard Morrison kind of came around, they kind of made it a bit more happy. But it's all to do with the Anzacs and remembering those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. So that's what Hoki Mai e Tama ma is. Now, to bust a few other myths as well with Maori songs. Now, there's a classic saying: if you know 3 chords on the guitar, then you can play any Maori song. Yeah, that's kind of true. This is also an opportunity, though, to learn something about musical theory and why that is partly true. Not all Maori songs just have 3 chords. There are plenty of Maori songs that have different little versions of chords and all these fancy little chord progressions. That definitely does exist, but you could just get away with playing these 3 chords and it will be okay. Now, why these 3 chords? Well, it's not actually to do with the key. You can change the key and still use the numbering system. Now, if you haven't seen that, the major scale video will help you out with that. Okay, and it's got to do with that Roman numeral numbering system with a capital I for a 1. Then you do a whole step, then there's 2 lowercase i's for the 2. Then another whole step, then there's 3 lowercase i's for the 3, so forth and so forth. Half step to the 4, whole step to the 5. So when we're saying a 1-4-5 progression, we're meaning the 1, which would be the key or the home note, and then the 4 and the 5 of that key. I'm going to do this in G, just because a lot of the beginner videos that we have been doing has been based around the G major scale. We could do it in C as well. I will do a transposition of that one to show you what I mean by the 1-4-5. But we're going to do this predominantly in G. So we're going to do a G chord right here. Okay. So we have our third fret, and use our second finger on the low E string. Second fret with the first finger on the A string, and then you can have that one, your third finger, on the high E 3rd fret, and that's your G. You strum all of those right across. Okay, so we're going to do that in this key. Now with those 3 chords, the 1-4-5, those are the what we kind of like a block chord kind of thing. You're just going to play this, and it's going to be pretty simple. So I'm going to play it in open chord form, and then I'll do another video, a part 2 version, and we'll do the bar chord form of that for those who are trying to get their bar chords down. Now, in the key of G, G is our 1, so that's the capital I. Now, when we're going for a 4 and a 5 chord in the key of G, well, this is 1 because that's our G. That's our G note right there. And then we're going to go whole step. So that's an A on the 5th fret of that low E. Then we're going to go whole step. That's our B. So that's the 2nd fret of the A. And then that's 4 once we go a half step to the 3rd fret on the A string. This is a C note. And because IV is a capital I and a capital V, it means that it is a major chord. Okay, major chords with the capital letters, and minor chords are usually associated with the lowercase letters. So C is our 4 chord, and then our 5 chord, because this is our 4, well then we do a whole step. So right here to this note, and that note there is a D note. So the chord D, and because it's a capital V, it is a major chord. And so that is our D chord, and that's our 1, 4, 5 progression in the key of G. So those all fit nicely together. All right. So with the thing with Maori songs, especially with kapa haka, and this is another good reason why we would be learning this, it is for rhythmic and timing purposes. The thing with Maori culture, particularly with kapa haka, it's all about keeping in time. When you do haka, if you've ever seen haka, the main thing is to be in time with your mates, and that's got to do with the beat. And you usually hear it with the stamping of the feet, and you know, when you hear the stomp, boom, 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 boom. That's your heartbeat. That's your rhythm that you're going to keep everyone in time with, or everyone keeps in time with that beat, right? That's what you got to do with the guitar here, and that you got to just keep the rhythm and keep everyone in time. So it's a good training exercise for that, and that's how you can tell some people who have been in kapa haka for a long time when they start playing guitar. It's because their timing is really great. They've got a natural feel for timing, and it comes from that practice. So this is just going to be in 4/4, and we're going to do a simple strum with this, and it's just going to be an up and down motion with a chug. Now a chug is an accent. We'll get to that in a second. We'll just get the up and down motion going first. So we're going to hold our G chord and just go down and up on the 1 and. So the 1 and the and is what we're going to go down, up on. So down on 1, up on and then down again on 2, but that's when we chug. Okay, so we've got 1 and 2. Let's try that again. 1 and 2. All right. But we're just focusing on getting the down up. So just the 1 and. When I'm doing that, now I don't really play with pick too often, hardly ever. And it's because of my guitar. The people who influenced me with guitar, they never really played with pick. People like Mark Knopfler, finger style player. So I've never really been comfortable with a pick, but it's all personal preference. So I'm just going to show you without the pick right now. So one thing that you got to realize about this hand here, my right hand, is when I play and strum, this hand is nice and relaxed. I'm not, you don't see the strings bending or digging like this when I'm playing. It's because I'm not doing that. And if you start doing that, you could really hurt yourself by cutting your fingers on the strings by doing that, okay? So relax the hand. And what you want is just to gently glide across the strings. You don't want to, so obviously don't want to dig in. You just want to nicely go across. On the down motion, I'm actually hitting just the part of my fingernail here as I go down, and then as I come up, I'm getting the fingernail of my thumb here. As I said, nice and relaxed. So hold my G chord. See, it's nice and relaxed. Okay, so 3. So on the count, well, I'll go to 4, and then I'll do the down up on the 1 and. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and. Okay, try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and. All right. So now that we've got that one, we'll do a chug. Now what a chug is, it's an accent. Now this is going to be like a country style rhythm. Very basic one. It's just to get that rhythm, that basic rhythm going. And when we chug, what I'm going to try and get is this part, all of this part here of my hand. And it's more of a flick of the wrist. And as I flick the wrist, I mute the strings, like this. Alright? So I'm actually muting. But again, it's very relaxed. I'm not having to go at the guitar. So it's very... Now what a chug is, it's an accent. Now what do I mean by an accent? It's the dominant sound that helps you define where exactly the on-beat is, really. So in this case, in reggae it's a bit different. But with this kind of beat, it's on the downbeat, or the on-beat. Okay, so you think about it like a drummer, and on the 2 and the 4, he'll hit his snare drum. So you go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, I'll clap this out. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So when I do a chug on the guitar, that's my snare drum. So when I do that, this here, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay? That's what I said. It's a bit of a flick of the wrist. So if you watch my arm here, when I go up and down on the 1 and the end, so I go down on the 1, up on the end, and then when I go down on the 2, that's when I chug. You'll see me have more of a flick in my wrist on that 2 count. So more arm movement on the 1 and the and then a flick of the wrist on the 2. So 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Hey, holding my G chord. I'll do that again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Totally out of time on that last part there. So we'll do it, but this time we'll add in the extra strum. So we're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So on the 3 and the and, we're doing, so on the 3 we're doing it down, on the and we do an up, and on the 4 we do a chug. Alright? So hold the G. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Alright. Okay, so we've got the basics of that strum down. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to get, we're going to add one more little strum in there. So now we're going to hit, after the chug, we're going to hit one more upstroke with the thumb. Remember, nice and relaxed on the right hand. Hold the G. Okay, 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's the basics of a Maori, what they nickname a Maori strum in the kapahaka circles. People do all sorts of different types of Maori strum, but the thing that is constant is where they place that accent, that chug. That is the main part. As long as that's in time, everything should be good. And you're making your changes on the right time as well. So when you got that going, you can start doing Hoki Mai. Now this is a little bit high for me to sing it in G, but for the purpose that a lot of you have played majority of the time in G, this is why we're doing it in this. Okay, so here we go. Hoki mai e Tama ma, ki roto, ina ringa, e tu whera atu nei. Oke te kapa mai, te haki, ina rangi, dunga tia mana e. Alright, now getting back to the thing where they said, well, if you know 3 chords, you could play pretty much any Maori song. Well, yeah, you could. 5. Well, you can pretty much play any Maori song, which is, again, there is a ring of truth to it, but there are songs that go more than these 3 chords. So when we do this, you can also play this. Leia taniwha, he went swimming in the moana. He whispered in my taringa, oh, won't you come with me? There's just so much to see underneath the deep blue sea. There we go. Now that last little part, I don't really play these songs too often, but I can hear where it's supposed to go once that I play it with the melody. You can hear it to the ear. So that's partly what it is too. You got to be able to hear it out. But what's another song? Well, tu te ro mai na iwi o e tātou e. Oh, tu te ro mai na iwi o e tātou e. Wawaya. Now, if you're going like, what's that? That wasn't a D. That's a D. It's another inversion of D. Here's our C. Well, if you just go up 1 whole step, so that's 2 fret. That can't be a C because this is C. So it's got to be the next one up, D. So that's D. It's another version of D. But anyway, it's still just a 1-4-5 progression. Now, if we were to change key, it's still the same scale shape. So let's do it in the key of C. So this is my C note here. That's my C chord. So that's the C major scale. Now what's the 1-4-5 of C? Well, C is our 1, which is here. This is our 2 because that's a whole step to 3, half step to 4, and this is an F note. And then a whole step to 5, and that's a G note. So we've got a C, an F, and a G. And that's our 1-4-5 in the key of C. So, let's see how I go with singing Hoki Mai in this one. Hoki Mai, Hoki, Hoki Mai e Tama ma, ki roto, ina ringa, e tu whera atu nei. Oke te kapa mai, te haki, ina rangi, dunga tia mana e. There you go, the 1-4-5 progression. You can play any Maori song, or most Maori songs. Alright, hope you have fun with that. There will be a part 2 which will be going over bar chords. Alright, have a good one, alright?